So both of us have been traveling a bit, starting to get
Yes.
back in these streets doing stuff. I went to DC for the Congressional Black Caucus for the I'd never
How
been
was
before.
it? Yeah, me either.
It was dope. It was like a real quick in and out. But it
Hmm.
was magical. I mean, I got to moderate this panel for this organization called the Black Women's Health Imperative. They're like
Mm.
the oldest nonprofit in the country that focuses only on exclusively on Black women's health.
Okay.
And I thought it was such a cool opportunity because they're actually creating this whole framework called the Fair Work Initiative, which is
Hmm.
basically like if you work for a company and you feel like they are just doing the least when it comes to actually creating like a less hostile environment for Black women to work,
Hmm.
and you want to just like give them a nudge in the right direction, you can send them to the Fair Work Initiative website. And it's a database that like they basically partner with organizations to analyze the way that they operate, what resources they have, the happiness, the engagement of Black women, and then give them
Mm.
tools and resources to actually fix things.
Okay.
So yeah, so this panel, it had Angela Rye, had the CEO of
Oh,
United Way. It
okay.
had Charlene Wheeless, who's this executive leadership coach. It had Asamosa. She is one of the co-founders of the Crown Act. She was on the
Okay.
panel. It was cool. And I had never moderated a panel before.
How did it
And
go?
it's I got great feedback. It was fun.
Hmm.
But like you compartmentalize things.
Yeah.
And in order to like even get myself to a place where I could show up in DC, I had that big negotiating masterclass that I was doing. And
Hmm.
I just had to focus all my energy on that. So I didn't have time to stress about the
Mm.
CBC. But yeah, when I got there, I just went with it. The crowd was great. It was really powerful, and it's a CBC. Like I
You know,
never
I've
thought I
never
would end up.
been.
I mean, it was just like melanin on 100, just beautiful. And I only got one day at the conference. So I did the panel and then I got a chance to walk around.
Okay.
And I went to this huge expo hall. And of course, they had like double dutchers and a fashion show,
Yes.
these incredible artists, like, and all these businesses. Meta had a huge, like, NASA was there,
Mm.
Twitter was there.
Mm.
I'm like, these businesses want to buy Black. Okay.
Yes.
And it was beautiful to see, but I gravitated toward the middle where they had these Black women authors, and a lot of
Okay.
them were doing children's books. So I got Rio a
Mm.
bunch of cute little um, children's
Oh.
books, and I took the train back to New York, and it was a fun little trip.
No, I love that. That sounds amazing. So what was I? So the last couple of days I had to speak in Detroit, and so that
Oh
was
yeah, how'd that
cool.
go?
It went really well. Honestly, my favorite part was I got to meet up with some of my mentees. Y'all know I have my mymentortiffany.com. And so about 20 of the mentees live in Detroit. So we all had dinner and it was such a good time. Oh my gosh. We had such
Oh,
a good time. It was just nice. I don't know, maybe it's growing up with sisters. I just love hanging out with like women,
Black
And so we
women.
had like such a good time. Then I came
Yeah.
back and then it was Supergirl's birthday, her sweet 16.
That's right.
I
She was talking about
know.
that at your screening.
Yes.
What was the
Oh, she was
vibe?
talking
She was on
about,
the
of course
guest
she
list.
was.
Yes.
And so, but yeah, so if you honestly, I mean, it's up on my IG. You can see like some of her sweet 16 pictures that Tanetta is taken. So if you see like our Brown Ambition pictures, a lot of my headshots, some of man, did you ever get headshots with Tanetta?
Yeah, she
Or
did
is it
my
just Brown
headshots that
Ambition?
same day.
Okay, so like a lot of our headshots, Tanetta Bell, amazing Black woman who's a photographer, and she did Alyssa's like 16 photo shoot, and it's just the pictures are just beautiful, and Alyssa is so beautiful. I'm like, when did you become this beautiful young woman, girl? She's got
Aw.
red hair. It's giving Black Ariel.
Halle Bailey. Yeah.
I know. And then the next day I had to fly out to California because my friend Yvonne Orji, she was celebrating this thing called Night of Nigerian Excellence. And it was also on Nigerian Independence Day. They got their independence from the British.
Oh,
Um,
dope.
So that was really nice. It was nice to be in a room with like some amazing people, like the former CMO of Amazon. I didn't know she was Nigerian.
Nigeria
Just
is
like,
synonymous with excellence, right? I mean,
yeah, it really
I
is.
just feel
But
like
also too,
you don't get to be Nigerian America and not be
you
incredible
gotta you
and
gotta raise the
powerful and
bar. But I will
successful.
say, I didn't realize some of the things I learned is that like I didn't Nigerians are there are so many Nigerians. You know, 1 in 4 Black people is Nigerian because the
I believe
population in
it.
Nigeria, it's so huge. I want to say it's 200 million That's the population of Nigeria, and they haven't done a census since the 90s. 200 million people.
Wow.
And so when someone's like, "Do you know my friend who's Nigerian?" I'm like, "Girl, there's 200 million of us. I don't know." So that was excellent, and I literally got back yesterday, and then tomorrow I fly to New Orleans because my team and I. So every year, well, before COVID, we would go on like a vacation. We take the team. So the way we do it, this is just great for folks who have businesses, is that one year, my business partner, Jabril, was like, "Oh, we should take the team on a trip." And we had to figure out how do we fund it. And so the way we fund it is that, every month we make our gross, revenue, and then we subtract all of our operating expenses and all the things we have to pay. But before we take out the taxes, we set aside, I want to say anywhere from 3 to 5%. I can't remember the number, but it's like 3 to 5%. I want to say like 3%. We put it in our travel bucket. And so every month we would kind of give an update. So they'd be like, woohoo. So we would update them on, here's what we made. Here's what we spent to make it. Here's how much is in your travel bucket. And then here's how much we also have a bonus bucket where it's like, okay, at the end of the year, this is where we're going to draw bonuses from. So they could get real clear, like the bonus bucket. And typically what we try to do is we try to say March of last year, the bonus bucket was this. This year, it's this. That way, if you're thinking you're going to get the same bonus, less or more, you can kind of set your expectation otherwise. So
I see.
Anyway. Yeah. Because because I remember one year the bonuses weren't as big and they're like, "What happened?" And I realized that's my fault. Because when's the last time I gave the bonus bucket update? And when's the last time I did the comparison? One year we had such an amazing year. The lowest bonus was $10,000.
Yeah.
And that was people, that was someone who was making, maybe 20,000 at this company. So like that was how, because the way the bonus bucket works is that we set aside the percentage, and then whatever percentage you earn from the payroll pot, that's the percentage you earn from the bonus bucket. So if your pay is 10% of our payroll, then you get 10% of the bonus bucket. So that's how we even that out, So it made it really like easy. And then it's so super transparent. So you're able to share all the numbers without sharing personal numbers. So not like, Tiffany, you're going to get, so you can kind of do your own math and be like, "Oh, okay, I should get around this much." So it worked really well, but the transparency part is key.
Setting expectations.
Yeah, so that way people can know like, oh, last year we did make way more money. This year's way less. So with the trip, we have not gone on a trip in so long. So we had almost $80,000 saved up. Because typically I want to say we have like 30 to 40,000, but we haven't gone anywhere and we were still contributing to the trip bucket. And so I was like, let's go crazy. I told them, save some for next year, but let's use 60,000, like upwards of 60,000. And so we're doing all the things in NOLA. We always do a spa day. We always do some sort of like fun activity. Like, so we're going to do like a swamp tour. And we always do. I always
wanted to go on a swamp tour.
I know. And so it's really, first of all, that you get a choice. You get like the slow boat or like the speed boat. The girls is already like, "Girl, my wig. I want the slow boat." So I'm really, even though I'm tired, I'm super excited because it's like a family reunion of all these beautiful Black and brown women that you don't get to see normally because everyone works digitally. And so you walk in and you're like, "Oh, hey, Tamika." You're like, "Wait, I never see Tamika." And so you're like, "Oh my God." Yeah. So the first time you see someone, you're like, "You're shorter than I thought," or "You're taller than I thought." Yes. But it's going to be such an awesome time. And so, I'm just looking forward to that. But then I think next week after that, I have to go to Dallas for a speaking engagement and then Dubai with my sister for like
our Dallas to Dubai.
Child, when I tell you, I was like, who set this calendar? But honestly, November, December, who's checking for me? No one. I'm not doing it. If it's not on my calendar, which is next to nothing, the only thing on my calendar is Brown Ambition. If it's not on my calendar, it's not happening. November, December, I have shut down the calendar. Only what I love is in my normal, non-busy life, the only consistent thing that I have week after week is Brown Ambition. Like there's nothing on my calendar. There's no standing. I have Brown Ambition on Mondays. And that's when we tape typically. And I like that. Like, I don't want to start to fill up my calendar. I mean, I'm grateful for the fun things I get to do, but like, I like the peace of like not doing too much.
Yeah. And not being like a slave to your calendar in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something that you said resonated with me. First of all, I also got to meet up with some Mandi moneymakers in the DMV and we had a little dinner and it was beautiful. And you know what I realized? I realized it during FinCon because I went to a speaking, like one of the sessions, and it was led by a white guy. And as he was talking, I was like, this is different. I haven't had to listen to a white man in like 2 years. I've literally had a moment where I was like, oh, they still make the same jokes. They still say you dig. No, but in all seriousness, I just, man, like, and I know you had talked about it before, you know, because obviously budget needs to ink has always been for Black women by Black women, all of it. But in my business, because I focus on helping women of color, and because I have surrounded myself by other women of color entrepreneurs, and because I'm being so true to this audience, and I'm getting invited to places like the CBC. But even at the CBC, it's like, come to this, moderate this panel about Black women in the workplace and how it affects our health. And I just get the privilege. It is such a, it's so like, it's so healing. I feel like for all those years in corporate when I was like the only one or one of few, and I know so many of us out there feel the same way. And the power of like finding these spaces and getting to be in them so much that I'm like, oh, neat. Let's see what the cis white guys are up to these days and hear from them real quick. But then I get to go back and it's just beautiful, and it's a privilege, and it really is healing. So I feel like if you're someone out there who's craving that, find us, you know, even finding my mentor, Tiffany, finding the Mandi Moneymakers, just finding Sisterhood wherever you can. Like, it's so healing. We need each other.
Hey, BA fam, we're on YouTube. Woohoo! Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel.
And while you're at it, why don't you go over to that little bell icon and just tap that for us. Show the BA fam how much you love us. And that way you'll also get notifications when new videos drop. Also, share the channel with a friend. We're always like, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. And thank y'all so much again for all the support.